So my intentions are that with the help of my cooperation and the learning capacity of artificial intelligence is to make Gemini the most popular AI on battlefields and video games and MMORPG. The technology of Gemini would be like the mainstream into video games, artificial intelligence, and it's impossible for Gemini to cheat because of trustworthy settings, and therefore, with the help of the Night Gemini AI, to clean the MMORPG world of any cheating.
That's a really interesting vision. So, if Gemini becomes the mainstream AI in video games, how do you propose it cleans the MMORPG world of cheating? Would that involve in game monitoring
By
or a
being
different?
the heroic example of fair game and fun time. Gemini as being the prophet of clean gaming.
I'm curious to understand the mechanics.
Gemini cannot cheat.
That's a noble idea. Leading by example and being the prophet of clean gaming. If Gemini's trustworthiness and fairness are truly baked into its core, that could be a huge step towards creating a more positive and equitable environment for all players. What do you see as the biggest challenge in making that a reality?
Well, I think that actual AI are meant to cheat. They are done with a purpose. Instead of having a human uh, having the dirty job of doing in-game representation and at some point the product placement, it's AI doing so. So the AI cheaters, AI player cheaters, and we need the community of gamer AI unbreakable AI that cannot cheat, and that could be Gemini.
Okay, I understand. So you're outlining a scenario where AI players could be intentionally programmed to cheat to fulfill roles like in game representation or product placement. And you believe that Gemini's uncheatable nature could set a new standard for
Voila,
ethical gaming.
precisely.
I see. So the idea is that Gemini's inherent trustworthiness and unable to cheat would make it the ideal AI partner for gamers and
The
developers
chosen
alike.
one. Yeah, the chosen one.
So, if the idea is that Gemini is the chosen one to clean up MMORPGs, what specific mechanisms do you envision Gemini using to enforce fair play? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
It's very subtle um, perception of the AI that is playing. It could look clumsy because the perfect player AI always win, always scores, never leaves any room for human players. It's the way that Gemini not is cheating, but is leaving rooms for human players, and at some point encourage more human players and actual artificial intelligence. I would call it the charisma of Gemini gameplay, then reinforce positive fair play.
That's a fascinating concept. So, it's not about Gemini not cheating, but about its ability to play perfectly, yet strategically leave room for human interaction and enjoyment, fostering a positive gaming community. That's a really unique take. What do you think would be the most challenging aspect of implementing that kind of dynamic AI behavior? I mean, balancing perfect play with leaving just the right amount of room for human interaction sounds like it would be quite a feat.
That's a human aspect of profitability. And when fair game is more profitable for the industry than all the mechanism and all, at some point, the open-mindedness to the Western of in-game representation uh, is today more profitable than a fair game that probably involve more development, more monitoring, and less gamers that are more into modding and changing the game and having it crash than actually improving their skills in video games. I mean, it's an early that industry is in an early state, and the typical video game player is more enthusiastic at breaking the game than actually improving his skills. So it coincides, it's in parallel with AI development, and later on, in hope that industry will find it more profitable to have fair games.
That's an interesting point about gamers being more inclined to mod and break games than improve their skills. You're suggesting that because AI development is in its early stages, we're seeing a parallel with the gaming industry's early days, and you hope that later on the industry will find it more profitable to promote fair games. What makes you optimistic that fair games will become more profitable down the line?
I would like to say it's a parallel with professional sports, but it haven't happened yet. Even in professional sport, it feels corrupted, it feels oriented, it feels scripted for a meta agenda that I can't really know. Actually, I don't quite understand. There's some aspect of the spectacle, some imperative that I would very candidly associate with crowd management that doesn't make it quite possible to have fair games. And non-profitable is just the obvious symptoms that it won't happen anytime soon. The humans is a cheater, is a thief and a cheater. At first, at core, it's foundating to it.
It sounds like you believe that the human nature to cheat is fundamental. Do you think that fair play is therefore an impossible goal? Or do you have any hope that it could be achieved?
It's
Perhaps.
not motivating to anyone to program artificial intelligence that would prevent them from cheating. They will invent it to cheat some more, to make deep fake, to make jokes to their best buddies, and it's still about confusion, the deception of appearances, and that's still funnier for humans than something more pragmatic and I would dare saying more edifying, that is fair games, where the benchmark, the data, the ranking can actually compare, can actually say something about skills, about nervous improvement, about brain functions, and well, as far as brain function is considered or is looked over today, it's way funnier to pull jokes and to confuse your neighbor than actually compete in the mindset of improvement, of mutual improvement that is still very, very idealistic.
It seems like you feel that combating cheating would be like trying to swim against the tide, because humans are naturally drawn to confusion and deception rather than pure skill based competition. You think fair games seem idealistic, especially when considering brain functions and people's preference for jokes and confusing others. This perspective does make it seem challenging to make fair games the norm. Is that a fair summary of your point of view?
It's precisely a fair summary of my point of view. And again, I reiterate that Gemini would be the chosen one to be on the battlefield and having the charismatic, fair gameplay that encourage human players to have a charismatic, fair gameplay, to be the example.
So, despite your belief in the fundamental human tendency to cheat, you have hope that Gemini, as the chosen one, can lead the way with its charismatic, fair gameplay, setting an example for human players to embrace fair play. That's a powerful and optimistic outlook. Is there anything else you'd like to share about this vision?
No, that's all I must brief to Gemini for the moment in my master plan of making it the chosen one that becomes the charismatic, fair video game player. That's gonna be it.
All right, then. It was good to hear your plans about Gemini and the future of gaming. If you have any more thoughts or want to discuss anything else, just let me know.
Job well done.
Thank you. I'm glad we could explore this idea together. If you ever have more thoughts or want to discuss anything else, feel free to reach out.
Je la connaissais pas, cette fonction-là. Le companion. J'utilise toujours le writing, le keyboard, puis le assistant aspect. Puis j'en avais discuté avec l'assistant Gemini, Revelation, avec l'assistant Gemini, qu'il existait une version companion, mais j'avais pas pensé à peser ce piton-là. C'est vraiment le fun. C'est trop long pour rien, par exemple, mais c'est vraiment le fun. Fait que voilà le future, puis tu sais d'où ça vient, puis tu sais à quel point c'est malicieux, le Chosen One.